Thank you, Julie. There are few moments in life as tragic as when parents lose a child to illness. Some families are drawn together by the loss. Many break apart. Today, we're going to meet a couple who turned the loss of their son into a living, giving memory to his young life. Tony has more in Better Parenting.
This is a picture of Nick Wilson. It was taken when he was about 3 years old, and Nick actually died about 6 months after this picture was taken. When he passed, his parents faced a profound and fundamental question. How do we keep Nick's spirit alive? Well, the answer to that question is the topic of today's story.
He was a very spirited little boy who loved sports like a lot of little boys.
He was a very compassionate kid. He felt bad when other people felt bad and tried to make them feel better in his own way.
He really just plowed through life.
The day before his 18-month checkup, he stopped walking.
We got a diagnosis of cancer, but we didn't know what kind of cancer it was. I remember saying, when our pediatrician asked if I had any questions, when you just think, is he going to live or die? That's all I need to know. That's all I want to know.
The whole concentration was on his treatment, how he was doing, waiting on pins and needles for lab counts and results and scans, bone marrow biopsy results, taking him to and from the hospital. I mean, that's just, it becomes your life.
He really wasn't defined by his disease because you would never know that he's sick. In fact, when he was hooked up to chemo, I would be running alongside him with the IV pole because he was hooked up, you know, but you're not going to stop him.
When a kid goes into the intensive care unit with cancer after a complication, they don't come out of there very often. And after the second week and further complications and different things happening, it just became apparent he wasn't going to make it.
It was probably a year or two after he died that we decided we wanted to really focus on bone marrow transplant families. The funding that we raise just goes directly to those families. So we'll do anything from helping a family pay rent to a car payment to gas, food, utilities. One of the saddest things is that you don't want to forget them. You don't want people to forget them. We'll never forget them. So to have his name attached to something that's positive and helping other families go through the same thing that we did is the biggest joy of this whole process. We're doing what we think is helpful to other people and to support them in ways that we would have found, you know, helpful had that support been available to us. It's very satisfying to do this in Nick's memory because that's all we have.
Nick just had a spark that you couldn't put out.
He had a short life, but he packed a lot of life into that 3.5 years.
Obviously, every family handles the loss of a child differently. For Jill and Addison, forming the Nick Wilson Charitable Group was part of that process. And now, through their own healing, other families are healing as well. I'm Tony Martinez. Thanks for watching.
The next big fundraiser for the Nick Wilson Charitable Group will be Moonstruck at Midnight, and it's coming up on New Year's Eve. To find out more, go to nickwilsoncg.org. We'll put a link to it on our website, better.tv.